If you were in the market to buy a Tesla, now might be the best time around the world as they are slashing prices due to overproduction and a weakening demand. Over at Automotive News, Tesla price cuts range from 6% for the base Model 3 to 20% for the Model Y. Big part of this is because of the demand situation going on, but also in America, we have the new EV tax credit situation, which is putting a damper on Tesla. So they're having to switch their prices around, cut prices so their vehicles will be available for that tax credit. If you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. I talk about electric vehicles here on the channel. My main channel focuses more on the broader industry, but make sure you subscribe if you like electrification. And let's get down to the nitty gritty here with Tesla. Model Y long range with all-wheel drive is now the entry version in the United States. You can't get rear-wheel drive long range, for example, and it's about $53,000 before shipping. It's a reduction of $13,000 or 20%. And one day you get a 20% discount on your Tesla because now that it's under the $55,000 price cap, it will qualify for the additional tax credit up to $7,500. We're still trying to figure out if it's going to be the full tax credit of $7,500 or half of that. Going over to the Tesla Builder, $7,500 federal tax credit certain new Model 3, Model Y vehicles qualify for. And this is in effect for deliveries until March 2023. And then after that, it could go down to half, just depending on where they're getting their minerals from, where the battery packs are made, all that lovely red tape we have to go through to try to figure out if the vehicle qualifies. So here we go, purchase price, but potential savings here could be down to $45,000. The Model Y is looking very tempting at this point. 330 miles of range, 0 to 60 under 5 seconds. You don't need to really go any faster than that. It's plenty quick for a crossover. Now, I don't see a builder on here for the 3-row Model Y. If I go down to interior, it just says seating for 5. I don't have another option to click other than black or white. Now, the 3-row Model Ys, according to the government, the IRS, those qualify for a higher price cap of $80,000 for those SUVs. But the 2 rows are only considered sedans. So it's just a muddy situation. And shares in Tesla slipped over 5% to $116 in early trading Friday. At the time of this recording, it's gone up just a little bit to about minus 5% at $118. Tesla delivered more than 1.31 million vehicles for the year, but they fell short of their 50% growth forecast. Overall deliveries rose 40%, but production grew to 47%. In Germany, prices were cut by 1% for the Model 3 and 17% on the Model Y. Musk is saying that interest rates and slowing economy could push the automaker to reduce prices even more. Model 3's price was cut to $3,000 to $43,990. Starting price for the midsize Model S was reduced by $10,000, which, I mean, it's still $95,000. And the midsize Model X saw $11,000 drop, which is not a big deal because it's still $110,000. Over the past 2 years, Tesla steadily increased prices for its lineup because of strong demand for EVs and limited supply by competitors who were struggling with supply chain shortages. Wait times for the base Model Y stretched to 6+ months, but obviously that's not the case anymore. Price cuts are not limited to North America or Germany. In China, they have discounted 6 to 13.5% just this month. And Reuters has reported cut prices in South Korea, Japan, Australia, and Singapore. UK, France, Italy, Austria, and Switzerland. So all throughout the world, prices are getting cut. So there's a lot of factors going into these price cuts. A lack of demand, number one. And why is there a lack of demand? Because there's competition finally in the market. Your only option anymore isn't Tesla. You can get tons of different EVs from tons of different automakers. And that sort of availability, of course, increases when you leave the United States because you can get your hands on the Chinese EVs like NIO or BYD. BYD is the #1 EV seller in the world right now. They passed Tesla in 2022. I think that includes their plug-in hybrids, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, BYD doesn't bring their retail models here. They do have business in North America with buses and other battery technology, but unfortunately, we don't get their cars here stateside. And there is a massive, I think it's a 25% tariff on any Chinese car that gets brought into America. So BYD would have toughest situation unless they build their cars here in North America. Also, the lowering lowering of the prices, Musk said, could be due to radical interest rate changes. That makes sense. I get it. And I think he's happy to not have the same profitability as long as he's moving as many models as possible. More Teslas on the road, better uptake of the supercharger network. Also, it's more advertising for his company to have more Teslas out there on the streets seen by viewers, or should I say other drivers who are not Tesla drivers. So the more out there, the better. And as long as you're making a profit, you're going to be fine. I also made a video, I think it was on my main channel, where I was talking about how Tesla makes 8 times more money per car, or should I say they're 8 times more profitable per car than Toyota, for example. Now that's going to change massively here as Tesla is slashing prices around the world as competition is eating into their profit margins. And I wanted to add this as well. The Tokyo Auto Salon is going on right now. Lots of cool vehicles entering the scene. Most of them are modifications of either current vehicles or old vehicles. So essentially what Akio is saying is that in a carbon neutral society, you don't have to have a gasoline burning engine. In fact, you can retrofit your AE86 or any other gas car to run on hydrogen. You can convert it into a battery electric. And converting your old car to a battery electric car sounds like it would produce a ton of extra CO2 to not only produce those electric motors, but of course for that massive battery pack in there as well. I think converting it to run on other fuels is by far the most carbon neutral thing that you could do. But ultimately, what's most important for the customer is cheap cost of ownership. And if it's cheap to convert your car to a hydrogen car or some sort of system where it can burn other fuels, then that makes a lot of sense for the customer. If it's way too costly for them to convert their cars, why would they do it? If gasoline is also cheap, why would they do it? Most people out there aren't thinking about their environmental impact. And in fact, the new moral standard has been reducing your carbon footprint instead of just being a better person by loving the ones around you and being a good member of society. But this carbon neutral future doesn't want you to be a better person. All they care about is your impact on the environment and the ones around you through measuring CO2. And if that's the case, we're in for a very controlled future with very little freedoms. And I just felt like putting that out there for you guys. I'm a little hopped up on too much caffeine today, but I'll CO2 you down below. Are you interested in buying a Tesla now that they're a lot cheaper? And I would be interested in a carbon neutral society too, as long as it doesn't infringe on my individual freedoms. But I got to cut myself off. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves and peace.